Now, the Central University of Technology in the Free State is under the spotlight following a damning report on several allegations. The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Pamela Dube, has been accused of favouring foreign nationals over qualified South Africans for top positions. Let's give you that bite then and give you a sense of what has actually happened, particularly in Parliament here. Listen to this.
Coloured males, Indian males and females are South Africans. You have in that faculty alone combined 2%. If you round it off, let's say 4%. Foreign nationals, 15%. What is the reason for that?
Honourable Member, the common reason really for it is about the skills, the internationalization plan, and the readiness to come and work within CUT or the Free State. It's really the pool that we are recruiting from. I dread the fact that I'll keep repeating the same thing, but we do not dismiss our internationalization policy and the targets there.
We're now joined by the Member of Parliament who made that, put forward that question, the Patriotic Alliance's Member of Parliament, Ashley Sauls, who joins us now to chat a little bit more about this report. Mr. Sauls, appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Just wanted to get your sense of whether we've put anything, differently to what you've seen it to be over the last couple of days, particularly with this report, that indeed it feels or seems as though the professor and the university as a whole is preferring then to put forward foreign nationals, and that is over and above qualified South Africans for these top jobs. Is that correct?
Good morning, Arbila, and to your viewers, good morning. That is 100% correct. It goes even further to show that particular intention, apart from the percentages that is obviously public now, in comparison to the preference of foreign nationals over South Africans. I made a specific example of Dr. Mpekwa, who is a brilliant black female South African who qualifies for the position of dean. She has gone through the interview process. She was shortlisted. Then the initial interview was closed, and then it was reopened the second time. This time, including the foreign national. In the first phase or the first interview process, the foreign national was not included. They reopened it a second time, and then this time the foreign national is included, and then the foreign national is appointed over and above a highly capable South African female. So it shows clearly that the intention was to appoint a foreign national over South African. That is illegal, it's wrong, and it marginalizes highly capable South Africans.
And that's the point I want to focus on as well then, to say that it's not to say that it's in support of South Africans that should just be getting these jobs. These are still the kind of South Africans in this case that are qualified for these top positions, if not exceed the ability to actually do this job. It's rare skills that are still found within South African context, but you feel are being favored towards foreign nationals.
Absolutely. And we don't hate foreign nationals. They're our fellow brothers and sisters. But we need to be clear. We need to prioritize and put South Africans first. We can't have a situation where South African academics, people who has given their lives to study, that has worked extremely hard and qualifies and cannot get an opportunity in their own country. That is not xenophobic. Us putting South African first is being patriotic. We must be unapologetic about it. We must put South Africans first, especially if they're capable, irrespective of race, creed, culture, social status. We must be clear. South Africans must prosper in their own country.
The Vice-Chancellor, Professor Pamela Dube, there also speaks about recognizing the university's internationalization efforts. What do you say to something like that? Because while there may be a relevance to that, you made note of the Faculty of Engineering having a 15% foreign nationals leadership ultimately there, whereas I think she made note of the cap being at 10% as well, so ultimately exceeding it.
Absolutely, because she was now looking just for a plausible, justifiable reason. But it's clear that it cannot be justified. The intention is exposed, and we should take accountability for it, that we are disadvantaging our own citizens. It is wrong. We cannot accept any justification. The cap is 10%. It was over-exceeded, but that's just the tip of the iceberg. If you look at many other institutions in our country, the same is happening. It should stop. The question should not be even in our exposing this, because our job as parliamentarians is not to expose. That's not why I celebrate. We haven't done anything yet until we fix it. So the celebration should not be the exposure of this. The celebration should be, what are we going to do about it? Are we going to change it? Is Dr. Mpekwa, is Keenan Jacobs, is the cutest employees that has lost their jobs because the very same leadership has a conflict of interest in their leadership and has caused through voluntary liquidation for 15 South Africans to lose their jobs. Are they going to get their jobs back? Is Dr. Mpekwa going to be appointed? Those are the questions that we should ask. As parliamentarians, we should not be celebrated for exposing the wrong. We should be held accountable to correct the wrong. It's time that South Africans walks around all across the globe and smile, saying that we are celebrated in our own country. That's never going to happen if we tiptoe around this illegality and irregularity. I'm not going to stand for it. My party President Gayton McKenzie has deployed us to go into Parliament and serve all South Africans.
Yeah.
And we don't intend to step back from that.
Mr. Sauls, I know we're not in the realm of just speculation, obviously, and I can fully appreciate that. But by your inspection, from your point of view and from what you have seen and interrogated with regards to this data and what you've been shared, what has been shared with you, why is there a favoring of one over the other, particularly in these universities? Why is this happening?
Your guess is as good as mine, Arabella. I don't understand why we disadvantage our own. The only conclusion I can come to, it is an evil that must stop. How can we look at our own and see them suffer and feel nothing? So I can't tell you what the real reason is. My speculation is it's pure evil.
It becomes very worrisome, because then the question mark is, should we be having greater scrutiny, greater regulation around the appointment of leadership then at our universities, for example?
No, there should not be greater scrutiny. As you've seen, we have scrutinized, we've exposed. There should be now an emphasis on changing it, on taking action. South Africans is tired of commissions and committee meetings and things like that. South Africans is calling for material change. We should ask ourselves, what steps are we going to take to change it? If leaders like those of CUTUS does not want to be inspired, they must be fired.
So is that the step you'll be looking for? The firing possibly of the Vice-Chancellor, the CFO, I believe as well, a reinspection of some of the positions that are filled by foreign nationals?
Look, our committee chairperson, and I must say all members of different parties that forms the Committee of Higher Education, all of us together are committed to see the lives of South Africans change. So we're going to have an intentional effort to ensure that there's consequences, but it is not even to remove the very same South Africans that are currently holding those positions. No, it is to have a first approach of saying, let us all come together, let us change the situation. But I am saying that if leadership of these institutions does not want to join in and work together to change the situation, then we must take serious steps within the ambit of our responsibility to ensure that such people are removed and replaced with people that has the interest of South Africans at heart, and that will use the policies and the regulations in a fair and transparent manner. Those that doesn't want to, all of us, no matter which party you're from, no matter what your affiliation is, as South Africans, we need to all come together. This thing that we compete, who's the best, who's not, should come to an end. Why be the only one when we all can be one? So, Arabile, I'm saying that the step should be to fix it, not just to talk about it and expose it, and that's the celebration. The celebration should be, have we fixed it for South Africans? And those that doesn't want to, there should be zero tolerance. They must be removed. We want to better our country, and we want to work with those who's committed to the same cause.
Yeah, so just for clarity's sake, I mean, the fixing of it ultimately means trying to ensure that those that are qualified for these positions and are South Africans should qualify for these South African jobs ahead of foreign nationals. Am I correct?
Absolutely correct. And that, I want to repeat, Arabile, is not being xenophobic. That is being patriotic.
Has this, do you feel, hindered the development, the growth of not only students, but our universities in South Africa, do you think? Or do you think it just plays a larger role in ensuring that we have the right processes in place for our schools?
Yes, it's very discouraging. Students has come to the committee and has complained about the appalling situations that they have to live in, the conditions that they have to live in on the residences, etc. What the little clips that is being seen is nothing compared to what has been exposed. The brilliance of our chairperson, for example, when we went on oversight, he had foresight to see that when we're going to question at that first visit, it's not going to be enough. So he made the call to say, we're going to have a special session, call them to Parliament. And that's what the country saw. If not for that move, we wouldn't have been able to expose this. So that has highlighted that it is even worse. There's bigger things that is happening. Like I'm telling you, the voluntary liquidation, that you have a CFO who is the CFO of the parent company, was 100% shareholder of the subsidiary called QTIS, and he's also the acting CEO there. The interim board for the same subsidiary is the entire executive and council members. So they make a decision to liquidate, and then they execute it. That's a conflict of interest. It's against King 4, it's against the Companies Act, but nothing is done about that. But now that it's been exposed, we should do it so that we benefit our students, we benefit our South African academics, and we provide opportunity for everyone. And then we can consider foreign nationals for internationalization, etc. But we cannot talk internationalization until we know that we have seen to our own citizens within our country. We need to build this country, all of us together, all races together. We need to build this country, and it starts now and it starts here.
Mr. Sauls, we appreciate you bringing this to the fore and making this known and aware of it, a very significant situation in itself then as well. So we certainly hope to, and we look forward to some of the solutions and actually fixing it, as you say then, and what happens from here. Ashley Sauls from the Patriotic Alliance.